What's up guys, welcome back to the shop. In today's video we're going to be making a knife out of drill bits. So here I have a whole bunch of drill bits that are very old and I've been collecting them over the years, and I'm going to clean them up with some acetone. They're made from different kinds of materials, I'm assuming, I'm not sure. I know that drill bits are made from high-speed steel, but I mean I could have some mixed in with some other kind of steel in here. I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna clean them all up the same with some acetone to get all the crud off, and then I'm gonna put them in a container and I'm gonna mix it with some acid. And I'm hoping that the acid will react with the outer coating, since some are black oxide, some are some other kind of coating. I'm not really sure, but I'm hoping that the acid will react with it and it'll rip that coating off. That way it's just straight steel and none of the other stuff, to helpfully promote a better weld. Here I'm taking them out of the acid and I'm putting into some water with baking soda, and that baking soda is going to neutralize it and get rid of all the acid. So here I'm going to toss them into my container. Moving forward, or if I ever do this build again, I'm probably going to put them the other way around with the heads pointing down, because since these are different sizes, there's I want the spirals to all be in one direction. So if I put them down, then the spirals will all be in one direction, and all the flatter part, you know, the drill bit that's flat, that doesn't have the flute, that'll all be to the end of the billet. Here it's going to be staggered and the steel powder is going to cover up a lot of the spirals. But unfortunately it was something that came to my head after I had already welded it shut and everything, so we ran it like that, and I was hoping to get a pretty good design. Here I'm just forging it down, and my seams are already starting to crack. By seams I mean the lids off the ends of the billet. They're already starting to crack and it's looking a little promising, and it feels solid under the press, so that's always a good thought. Though there's a little bit of like little sparks coming out from the inside. That's normally where the powder doesn't really stick, and that's something that I get sometimes with the ball bearing Damascus canisters that I do. And so here I'm hitting it on the corners, trying to release the billet from the inside, as I tend to do, and I realized that I have a big old crack in the middle of my billet. So at this point I stopped and I decided to let the billet cool down, and I was going to remove the canister to make sure that what I had on the inside, at least some of it, was salvageable, but it didn't look too promising at that moment. And once I got that lid off, I could tell that there was a lot of cracks, so I decided to get that whole part out and see what we had to work with. Here I'm just tapping it, and a lot of those drill bits are falling off and falling apart very easily, so I know that this is a pretty cruddy billet. But halfway into doing this, it came to mind that I'm already this far in, so I took the part that was the most consolidated and I welded a rod to it, and I ended up throwing it back in the forge, seeing if I could get it to stick. One, because I kind of wanted to try it. I'm already this far in, and two, maybe a little something in me was thinking, hey, maybe I can get this to stick. Maybe I can save it and still make a video. Well, regardless, I made a video, but yeah, this thing was not sticking at all. And I was getting it very hot, because first of all, I thought that maybe the drill bits, I just didn't get them very, hot enough. So I decided to crank up that heat and get it as hot as possible. That way I can make sure that they forge welded together. But here, as you can see, it's not working too well. If you've ever worked with drill bits, like in a canister, and trying to forge weld them together, you ever tried that before and you had success, let me know in the comments, and I'll take a tip or two. I'll probably end up trying this again in the future, knowing myself, so anything I can learn will definitely help this move forward. So here I'm flattening it out and see what I have to work with at the end, and I start splitting on the sides, so yeah. So overall, I consider this a pretty decent fill. It's still pretty hot. I mean, can't really make anything out of it, but it was a fun learning experience. I'm going to cut it in half with the grinder and see if, any of it actually welded together. So here I have some ferric chloride that I put into a little container, and I have the cut off pieces. You can see all the minor little cracks in there. By minor I mean many, not minor, many little cracks in there, and you can tell nothing's very consolidated. So I put it into the ferric chloride, that way we can see what that edge is looking like. Obviously I can't make a knife out of this is just scrap, but it made me curious, and I put it in there, and it actually looks pretty cool. Almost kind of like a camo look with a whole bunch of different shades and stuff in it. I'm actually very interested in making something, obviously with making my billet actually hit first, but overall it looks pretty cool from that angle. But yeah, this one's gonna go into the dud bucket, and it is what it is. This sometimes happens. It actually happened to 3 billets this week, but we're not going to talk about that. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate y'all, and I'll catch you on the next one.